Sebastian Chu. Wait, how did you guess my old name? Shit.
I don't believe in the government dictating what percent.
Like, if you want socialized healthcare, then yeah, the government's necessarily going to be the one setting all the rules about this kind of shit.
Is driving in the car with your kid morally wrong?
I could argue yes, and that's why I'm also against public transport. Sorry, that's why I'm in favor of public transportation and outlawing cars eventually.
Abortion is a topic I'd love to debate, but I just keep getting confused and not understanding their arguments because they just don't make sense. This is the third person that's tried to talk Alec Gunter into putting more weight into caring about the philosophy behind laws.
I can't do another freaking...
I can't do this. He's done 2 debates and he's like, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. Like, what is he thinking? No. Anyway. So yeah, we had 2 conversations. He rage quit both of them. We'll get the very end of the second one. The third one is a mixture. So it's... Oh, thank you, Reverse. Yes, the third one is a mixture. It's not just abortion all 9 months, but also conservatives are dangerous people. And then presumably this one goes on a short while. We'll watch as much as is interesting.
Minds, mind you, or have you?
I'd like to think that some minds are changed, but, you know, ultimately it's content.
Yeah, he's asking this guy if he wants to change minds, if that's really a focus of his.
You know, I'm not trying to grandstand and say that what I'm doing here is changing the world. This is entertainment.
Sure. So would you at least not say that you would have a better time convincing people of something being just or unjust by demonstrating the morality or immorality of something?
The best way to...
We had the point where people are trying to argue things in concept, like argue philosophy with him, but he only ever wants to drag it into a policy kind of question, well, how do you apply this in the real world? But the thing is, this guy wants to apply rules to the real world without thinking about the philosophy behind it first. You kind of have to think about stuff in concept and work out what you think is moral and what is good before you can start telling people what policy is good, you know what I mean? But Alec wants to skip that step, probably because he's not intelligent enough to actually think about things in concept and come up with his own ideas. Because then what he might do is go against his chat. And that's not what we should be doing here. What we have to do if we're someone like Alec Gunter is agree with everything his chat says.
How do you think you're convincing somebody with that silly scenario of yours? How is that better than saying, hey man, if you outlaw abortion, women die or unalive?
Okay, I'm just demonstrating that if somebody holds to that kind of a principle, that the way how they think is highly irrational. It's very erratic, right? Because it's not
irrational.
What does he think the speed limit should be? Bearing in mind, presumably, the higher a speed limit somewhere is, the more likelihood there is of someone dying. Maybe he thinks everyone should do 20, even on the interstate, who knows?
No, wait, this is very simple. Abortion outlawed, more women unalive.
Okay.
It's very simple.
Alec,
that's as rational as it gets, and that's backed up by ample data.
Alec, ask anybody, right?
Let's ban cars. Why haven't we banned guns yet, seeing as people die because guns?
If you value autonomy and integrity so much, do you think that it should be permissible for somebody to take 1 drop of your blood to save 10 people?
I can't do this again. I can't do another freaking...
I can't do this. He's done 2 debates and he's like, oh, I can't do this. Like, what is he thinking?
I just can't. Not happening. Okay. Apostle, give me just a minute. You've been very, very patient. I'm going to go grab another drink. I'll be right back. Okay, nobody in the Discord. Nobody's Google called. Apostle, you're up next.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. You?
Doing all right, thank you. Can you just give us your name, whatever name you like to go by, your pronouns, and, name, age, and pronouns?
Yeah. The name can stay the same as my username.
I like how he's never going to use any of these pronouns. Completely doesn't matter. It's just a virtue signal.
So just be Apostle. I go by he, him, and I'm 23.
Excellent. And what are you here to talk about?
Actually, I just want to clarify a few things just before I get to what I want to talk about really quick. When you say conservatives are dangerous people, are you affirming that the political position is dangerous? Or are you talking about people in general?
That's a good question. I think it's a little bit of both. I think that if you are a conservative, that means that the ideology that you support is one that tends to subjugate people, that tends to put people in lesser positions or even positions of danger, such as in the case of abortion. It
kind of resembles how a far righter might argue about something like Islam or something. But on the left, he really has not left his past behind.
have ample examples of like conservative influencers and politicians who have not only been like we have like a whole Google Doc of like 1,300 conservatives in positions of power who have been arrested on charges of like child abuse. Like it's really bad. On top of that, we have people.
I'm asking about political philosophy. I'm not asking about like the general political understanding.
Sure. I think it's worth noting that the political philosophy tends to lead to the behavior that causes these kinds of things to happen. So, like for instance, there's this guy named what's his name again? Who knows the governor of? I can't remember the governor that wanted to like keep.
Doesn't understand conservatism. Probably not. I mean, he went from the cartoon part of the right to the cartoon part of the left. So his understanding of either side is probably minimal, I would say.
Child marriage legal. Like he said that he knew a 13-year-old that got married and like that was fine.
That's Wisconsin.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm still on the BRB screen on my main stream. Hold on. There we go. Thank you for pointing that out, Queen Laura. What was I saying? So like that's an example. And I'm not saying that everybody who believes in conservative things believes that that's okay. What I'm saying is that ultimately is like I don't see a way that you could reach that position from a leftist position, right? From like a
Hi, Spencer. I hope you're good.
leftist stance, but like I can easily see that from a conservative stance because women are meant to be subjugated, right? Women are meant to be the lesser of the two sexes. So like
Is that even a conservative position these days? Women should be subjugated? I think you're having to go quite far to the extreme to find that kind of opinion consistently, I would say.
you know.
I mean, that can be conservative, but like it would be like case by case. Like if we look at some cases that are conservative, I think they would agree with some liberal. Like
I mean, if you're conservative but like hyper-capitalist, you probably think that women should be kind of treated as equal because you want as many people as possible in the workforce, you know, generating GDP or whatever.
Like liberal ideals that we have in the U.S. I mean, like I'm just talking about the overall political philosophy. I mean, like you could point out some like issues with U.S. conservatism. Oh my god. And then I could point out some issues with like the liberal view. Like the overall.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could use Foucault to argue that leftists are more inherently pedophilic or something like that. I guess you could make that kind of argument with him. Maybe someone should. I don't know.
Position of liberalism.
But you have to treat Gump with kid gloves because he likes running away from debates and he likes trying to hyper focus the conversation the way he wants it to go and no one else.
We get to talk about libertarians. I think that eliminating authority is an issue. But I mean, I mainly came out here to talk about like the abortion topic. So I was just be curious. And, yeah. I mean, what's your reason for like thinking that abortion like ought be like legal?
Yeah. So involving the
Hi, Searcher.
government who are not trained like at all in matters of medicine, government officials who are just simply not trained in that is a recipe for disaster because what ends up happening is their ideology leaks in and they don't go by like anything objectively measurable or observable. They just have like feelings about some things.
Yeah, Alec used to be he by his own words, he used to be like far right and now he's far left. I don't think at any point he really knew anything about anything and it's just very easily led or something like that. I don't know. I don't know the story behind his switch, but hey, he seems to have got at least something of a follow base from it.
And so sometimes those feelings say, well, actually, like a single-celled zygote is a person, and that's silly to me. And then that results in, like, for instance, a 10-year-old from Ohio being forced to go to the state of Indiana, like a 2 or 3 hour drive, just so that she can have.
China has had state-sanctioned eugenics for ages. Haven't heard much from leftists about it. Yeah. Jesus, there's a lot of arguments you can make that being on the left doesn't mean that you. Like, because he's trying to argue, oh, well, the conservative perspective leads you to be more likely to be X, Y, or Z, you know what I mean? But you could very easily make those same things about leftists. You could find examples and do it that way. So it's kind of retarded what he's doing here. But it's Alec Gunter, what do you expect?
Have that whatever, however it was, like 7 or 8 weeks extracted from her. Like,
like by some positions, it would actually be true that a zygote is a person. Like, take for example, Eric Olson's.
I think that's silly.
Wait, so like, what do you think a person is?
It's a good question. I guess it's somebody who can, like, it's a living creature that has the capacity for higher thought, such as humans. Doesn't necessarily have to be a human, but that's the only people that we know of right now.
You mean like sentience? You mean consciousness? Like, what do you
sentience? Not exactly, because like animals are sentient, right? And
yeah, do babies have the capacity for higher thought? When does higher thought develop? He doesn't think about any of this shit. He just says stuff that leads to more questions. But the problem is, all those questions are aimed at like fleshing out his philosophy and his ideas. And he's extremely anti all that. He doesn't want to flesh out his ideas or his philosophy. He just wants to jump straight to like policy prescriptions because he's actually completely clueless about all of this.
have a lesser moral consideration for animals than I do for humans.
You could say
higher. I would say higher thought and logical patterns. I guess it's complicated.
I mean, yeah, that would just like
Yeah, like higher thought, logical patterns. Well, I don't know, things like octopuses, dolphins, and stuff have quite a lot of intelligence. How come they're not people, but human beings are? And how come a baby is a person, but a more intelligent animal isn't? You know what I mean? A more intelligent animal that might have more logical problem-solving skills than a baby. Because ultimately his position is, you become a person once you exit the womb, like once you're born. Deadwing Dork did a video on a radical left-wing pedo forum that was wanting no age of consent, child liberation to have adult-child relationships. There are dangerous people on all sides of... Yeah, of course, yeah. There's crazy people on the left, there's crazy people on the right, there's crazy people somewhere in the middle.
limited down to like monkeys and like dolphins. But like just to be clear, do you think that animals, like all animals, have moral? Like, do you think that all animals have like moral consideration unto themselves, or is it based on like a higher rationale that gives them moral status?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Like, is it the status of the animals that gives them at least
Okay, I think the caller has like kids in the background.
some moral consideration, or are they given moral consideration because humans say so?
I mean, morality is strictly human, right? At least right now. Like, we don't have another animal that we know of that's capable of like moral reasoning and deduction.
Well,
so
I mean,
it is what
like,
we ascribe to them. Yes.
Well, I mean, like just because like morality, like humans are the only ones able to like recognize moral principles. I mean, well, there's some studies like monkeys could too, but some monkeys could. But like even besides this, like this is kind of like affirming like moral anti-realism.
I haven't heard about monkeys having morality. There's definitely animals that show things like Machiavellian intelligence. You know, that they will fuck over another animal, another of their own species or whatever, if they might stand to benefit from it. I haven't heard about monkey morality. Maybe I'll have to look into that.
I don't think we should get into this because it's more like normative. I don't feel like getting into meta.
Okay.
But I don't like, me personally, when it comes to my moral position, I think it's just going to be some facet of reality. I don't think it's going to be true that humans are the ones with like high rationale. I mean, like high rationale such that morality is created from humans or it's comprehended from humans.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm not part of disagree, but I mean, you just like by high rationale, do you mean like consciousness then, like self-awareness, etc.?
Not necessarily self-awareness, because like I don't even think a newborn up to like 2 years is self-aware necessarily. I don't know the exact science on that, but I guess it's more like like a newborn would be like once that's detached. Like I said,
you see all the things that you need to really make these kind of arguments. You need like a strong moral framework. You need like a strong philosophy to work from. There's none of it here. He's like spitballing, and presumably he'll do the same thing he does in every conversation, where he just slowly gets more and more impatient and gets more irritated at being asked questions. It's so bizarre. It's like, it's not even like Vorshian at this point. It's more like watching Demon Mama or something like that.
the neurological capability is when I consider it worthy of more reasoning. It'd be like you know, like I don't want to compare like humans to animals, but like that's why I give moral consideration to animals and not to things like plants, because they have neurological capabilities that allow them to have certain patterns of higher thought than like non-living objects or plants, and they experience things and they have feelings.
Like, isn't all of this meaningless when he's not a vegan, doesn't advocate for veganism, so eating meat doesn't matter? And then all of this stuff about consciousness and stuff, it doesn't matter. There's consciousness in the womb, but he'll still advocate for abortion all 9 months. So I don't know.
Things, and that's worthy of our consideration.
I mean, like, there's gonna be like, what do you mean by capability? Do you mean capability just be like some, like they have a potential to reach a certain maximum?
No, just like I guess it's more about like your capability to experience things is when you start to have moral consideration.
I mean, this guy, he's literally met Vorsh. He's worked with Vorsh with like PV before, Progressive Victory. There's I watched him and Vorsh having a conversation at this event they did to try and get that Jamal Bowman elected that didn't work.
What do you mean, like experience? Like anything can experience something. Like, what do you mean, like subjective experience?
I don't think that a rock experiences things.
Yeah, of course it does. It experiences like a temporal passing. I mean, obviously it experiences things. Like, obviously a rock experiences things. It just doesn't experience like things in a way.
Come on, you're warping the word experience.
What do you think? What do you think experiences?
What I'm using it to mean is a conscious entity of some sort.
I mean, we know that like plenty of animals must have experiences. So just, you know, having had experiences is a very low bar in a lot of ways. And also, at what point does a child start having experiences by his measure? could we use this as a, could we use anything he's saying here as like an example of, or like as an argument for like post-birth abortions, you know?
Sort that allows you to experience. A rock cannot experience. It doesn't have like neural connections. It doesn't have thought processes or even feelings or
Hi, Amy. I hope you're good.
senses.
Okay, well, I think that's just a semantical issue. When I say experience, I'm just talking about there's going to be some effect of temporal passing.
So,
I mean, like, rocks obviously experience effects of temporal passing.
do you understand the idea that I am trying to communicate to you?
Yeah, you're talking like...
Okay, then stop with the semantics. Go on. What's your point?
Well, I mean, like, I would just say that, like...
You see, he can't do it. He just can't do it. He can't hang. Why are you doing a debate show?
By disposition, like what kind of higher rationale you think? Like, because all you're talking about is like there's some facets of consciousness, like maybe it's like it's not self-awareness, but there's something else. I mean, like it's like very vague. Like is it just like the higher
That's
rationale?
because I don't think about it a lot. What I think about is the 10-year-old who couldn't get an
When
abortion.
stillbirths still happen,
I mean, I'm not
why
talking about
distinguish
Doesn't think about it a lot. Doesn't think about why he believes the thing he believes. Doesn't think about how to flesh something out that is a good argument for allowing abortion up to 9 fucking months.
We're mainly talking about,
22
like,
weeks in
95%.
I know you're not talking about that,
If
but
the
you should be.
pregnant person wants it gone,
Why
it
would
should
I
be
talk in these
gone.
cases when I'm not like against people getting abortions in these cases?
You're not against that? Okay, good. I'm glad we're on the same page. What is your stance on abortion?
I would just say it's wrong because there's going to be more theory. There's going to be more.
If the pregnant person wants it gone, it should be gone. We're arguing for gender inclusivity and killing babies for any reason. How nice. How nice. I love progressivism.
Harm done, like had there not been an abortion ban.
There's going to be more harm had there... Hold on. Say that one more time. Sorry.
There's going to be more harm had there never be an abortion ban. So like the harm would be like a deprivation with kind of harm.
More harm as in what?
Like I would just say that the fetus is like harmed by deprivation. I think that their non-complex interests of like wanting to live, it's like you're depriving them of complex
Do
interests.
you believe that a zygote has a non-complex interest of wanting to live?
I mean, like obviously, like this is just gonna be true for like most animals.
In what fashion?
Obviously, they grow and develop in order to persist their like life and growth.
So do bacteria cells.
Yeah, they have a non-complex like interest in life.
Okay, so then I would say it's fair that I give the same amount of moral consideration to the zygote that I do to like an amoeba.
Well, I mean, like if we look at amoebas, they don't really have like any. They don't have really any capability to like have any complex interest.
Why not? Like as compared to a zygote?
An amoeba can't really grow to what we can they?
No, but a zygote is not us. A zygote is a single-celled organism.
Well, I get that, but it's still like if we talk about human zygotes, it's still going to be of the Homo sapiens
Well, hey, this guy was one at one point. Arguably still is.
species.
So is a cancer cell.
you think a cancer cell is of the Homo sapiens species?
Genetically, yes, it is.
Right, that was weird. They don't have the capability to.
It has the same genetic composition as it has to.
I get that, but like it has no complex interest in its future.
Why not? I could argue it does. It grows, doesn't it?
I mean, like, I don't think there's been any tests. There's been no studies that suggest that like a cancer will ever develop a subjective experience.
Ever develop. So you're talking about future development.
I'm talking about like the status, like the property of what the fetus has.
Okay, a zygote, we had this discussion the first person who was in here. A zygote does not have the property of...
Yeah, here's another thing. If you're going to do a debate show, you're going to be hearing the same thing over and over again. You can't just be like, oh, we did this in the first one. They might not have been listening to the first one. Like, I don't know, man. You got to get used to repeating yourself and getting used to saying some of the same things over and over again. If not, why are you doing a debate show?
Higher thought that like a 22-week-old...
A zygote isn't a single-cell organism very long, is it? No, like, part of his argument earlier on in the video was something like, well, the zygote will, you know, it might latch or it might just die. So its future isn't necessarily to develop into a human being. But then the whole problem there is you could just put it very slightly after, you know, well, what about when it's not a zygote anymore? What about when it's latched, you know? So all you have to do is move the timeline along very slightly.
fetus would.
I'm not saying they have the property prior thought. I'm saying they have the
You
property.
just said that.
I said they have the property of the future like ours.
I have the... Okay. A zygote has a 50% chance of being flushed.
Yeah, this is exactly what I mean. So what if you just move the timeline very slightly along to where the zygote has like latched and is going to start growing now? That's all you'd have to do. Okay, so you support abortion in all cases when it's a zygote. But if it grows beyond that, then what? You know what I mean? Like all you have to do is move things along very slightly.
So it does. Could I say that it has the property of just being doomed to be flushed?
No, not necessarily. And that's not going to be part of this because it's not going to be part of this neurodevelopment. Even then, I'm not saying
No. It's when you talk about normal development.
But you're talking about like zygotes. You're talking about like zygotes as if I want to like outlaw IUDs. I don't want to outlaw IUDs.
And I never said you did. What I'm saying is, well, hold on, that's interesting. So, so we're talking about zygotes. Do you give moral consideration to a zygote?
I give more consideration, but I wouldn't say it gives enough reason. Like, I don't think it
Shouldn't it depend on the zygote? Because it does matter what it's going to turn into, right?
has, like, we look at counterfactual harms. I don't think it's counterfactually harmed. In this.
Oh my god, someone in their chat. Abortion is a topic I'd love to debate, but I just keep getting confused and not understanding their arguments because they just don't make sense. Yeah, that sounds about right for a Alec Gunter chatter. Jesus Christ.
Same way like a fetus is.
So let's say that okay, let me ask you this. When do you think that, like, at whatever stage of development, a zygote, embryo, fetus, whatever, gets like the same type of moral consideration that I would give to you or me?
I mean, necessarily doesn't matter like the stage of development. It's going to matter like what its environment is. So I'd say like about the time pregnancy starts.
About the time that pregnancy starts when the zygote's formed. Or attachment. You could argue attachment. You could argue like when it attaches to the uterus.
That's no, a conception. That's not when pregnancy starts.
That's okay. Pregnancy is a process, so you could argue that it starts at conception, and then when it attaches to the uterus. You get what I'm trying to communicate.
It's widely recognized that pregnancy starts at implantation.
Okay, implantation, fine.
So I would say it's wrong to get an abortion because of that.
Yeah, so at implantation, you can't really make the argument, well, it just might be flushed, because at that point it's after that. So, like I said, to deal with that argument, all you do is move the timeline along slightly.
Yes.
So you think that starting at implantation is when it is worthy of the same moral consideration as you or I?
No, I'm not saying it's worthy of the same moral consideration. I'm saying like it's not harmed. It's harmed in the same way I'm harmed. That's what I'm saying. So like it's more harmful to unalive it in this case than to harm it when it's a zygote.
The violinist argument, or on a blank. It sounds familiar, but pregnant woman. Oh, I've seen this in Philosophy Tube before. A pregnant woman, like a person who has been kidnapped and connected to a dying violinist, has no moral obligation to continue the pregnancy, even if it means the fetus's death, because she was not responsible for the situation. Well, that might work for like rape, but if you consensually had unprotected sex, then you're partly responsible. I don't know. To be fair, I haven't looked at this in detail, so don't know.
Zygote.
Okay. Why?
Its moral status is the same. Like, I normally uphold to like hylomorphism. So like, obviously, the zygote obviously has a hylomorphic identity, but
I don't know what that word means.
It means they have a form and they have a matter, which makes their like substance.
Everything has a form and a matter that makes it substance. What?
Many people
Oh, Helen Joyce? Probably not, no.
disagree with that actually.
What's your point?
Yeah, I'm just saying that like it would just be more harmful in the case of like the eventually it's going to be blastocyst and then fetus, and in these cases it would be wrong.
When do you think that abortion ought to be allowed? You've stated already that like it's allowed in some cases. Never?
In the cases I'm talking about, in the 95%.
How did he get de-radicalized? I can't even remember what it was. I think it was something to do with like trans people. But he hasn't been de-radicalized, he's been re-radicalized. Like, these people like bouncing from like fairly extreme right-wing shit to fairly extreme left-wing shit, or vice versa, is not uncommon. And I honestly think like he probably cares more about like the kind of community that you get from this kind of shit than about whether any of this kind of shit actually makes any sense, you know what I mean?
It would just be never.
In the 95% it would be never. That makes no sense.
As in the 95% of abortions, in these cases it would be wrong. As in cases where it's elective.
Okay, so what's the 5% that you allow it? That was the question.
It would just be like grape and life of the mother cases.
Okay, why?
Why? Well, I would just say that there's going to be no counterfactual like causal like obligation in cases of grape, and then for cases of like life of the mother, it would just be. Are you familiar with Thomas Aquinas?
No, I've heard of the name, but not intimately familiar.
It would be some of his one of his theories talks about like self-defense. So like in self-defense cases, it would be justified by like the principle of double effect. But
so like what % chance would you say that the mother has of unaliving?
Like normally?
Like what I'm asking is, at what %, like let's say the doctor says that the mother has like a 10% chance of being unalived if she continues the pregnancy. Is it morally permissible to terminate the pregnancy?
It would have to be some like number over 50%.
50%?
Yeah.
So you think that a woman who has a 25% chance of just...
The funny thing, you joke, but like he actually made like a eugenics argument. Someone was asking if someone should be allowed to abort their baby because they don't want a black baby. And he's like, yeah.
Being unalived is not morally, like it should be illegal for her to get an abortion.
When people say grape, I roll my eyes so fucking hard. To be fair, he said earlier in the video that they're on TikTok and they have to watch what they say, like even more so than on YouTube. So he probably has to say stuff like that.
Yeah, that would be low probability of unalivement.
That's 25%. That's 1 in 4.
Low probability? What? That's below 50%.
That is 1 in 4.
That's a low probability.
Okay, if you think that's low probability, then I do this. Load up a pew-pew with 4 bullets, a revolver.
Load up a pew-pew.
You mean
Or sorry, 1 bullet, and 1 bullet. You ever bet a 25% chance of just being unalived is not morally, like, it should be illegal for her to get an abortion.
Yeah, that would be low probability of her.
I mean, do any of these things, like, are you really ever getting that much of a solid percentage in the first place? I don't know. I guess you kind of have to set the bar somewhere. All pregnancies have a mortality rate. You always have a chance of dying if you're going to give birth. Yeah, that's true.
That's 25%. That's 1 in 4.
Low probability? What? That's below 50%.
That is 1 in 4.
That's a low probability.
Okay, if you think that's low probability, then I do this. Load up a pew-pew with 4 bullets, a revolver.
You mean
Or sorry, 1 bullet, and 1 bullet. You ever play Russian roulette?
Yeah, it would be like 15.33% or something like
Yeah,
that.
the other thing is, having a baby is a bit different to playing Russian roulette. You know?
Have you ever played Russian roulette?
Yeah, they're all saying weird words. It's what they have to say on these stupid platforms. Like, there's not much point in bitching about it. I'd be curious where these different possibilities of dying exist in real life at all. Or is it just all pregnancies carry some risk of death? Well, yeah, they all do, yeah. And some are almost certain death. Yeah.
I played it online, but I never actually
Online. Have you done it in person?
I have not played Russian roulette.
Why not? It's a low chance.
Number
Right.
one,
Would you do it for money?
But I do it for money?
Yeah. Would you do it for like, $1,000?
$1,000.
Now he's not even talking about the subject.
Maybe.
That's really stupid.
That money or lucky.
That's really
Like,
stupid.
even,
You have a very low value of your own life, I must say.
Like even the actual current percentage of like the actual.
What is the point in this? What? Why even do this kind of shit? It's not like these people are being rude to him. Like, he just comes off as a dick. Oh shit. I fucked up.
Would
you do it for money?
But I do it for money.
Yeah. Would you really? A 25% chance is not extremely low, man. I know that you don't value your life enough to not pull that trigger, but women do. Most women do, okay?
So like, what do you think a high probability is?
It doesn't matter what it is. Any probability is enough for a woman to say, yeah, that's too high for me.
So if it's like,
Nobody else gets to make that decision but her.
wait, so is like going on a wait. So like, is driving in the car with your kid morally wrong?
I could argue yes, and that's why I'm also against public transport.
Why does he do this? Why do this? Why bite the bullet on shit like that? That's so stupid. Why though? Quibbling over the chances is rather pointless. I mean, I see the point, I guess, because it's like, well, where do you draw the line? If it's to do with like risk of death to the mother, like where do you draw the line? You know what I mean? That 66% death rate from the Middle Ages is speculated they didn't know about. Placenta previa. I don't know about that. I'll have to look into that. Living is the #1 cause for deaths. Yep, true.
It's too high for me.
So if it's like,
Nobody else gets to make that decision but her.
wait, so is like going on a wait. So like, is driving in the car with your kid morally wrong?
I could argue yes, and that's why I'm also against public transport. That's why I'm in favor of public transportation and outlawing cars eventually.
Yeah, okay, let's outlaw cars. Great idea. Great idea in the US, where you need a car to go fucking anywhere in most places. I'm gonna guess he lives in the middle of a city or something like that. You'd have to be with a take like that. That's why eventually I'm out in favor of outlawing cars. So you're so obsessed with the idea that you can get the death rate very slightly down, irrespective of the fact that on public transport accidents can still happen, that you'll like cop to, well, yeah, I probably would argue for banning all cars because there's a non-zero risk of death if you go in a car. Like, fuck me, man. What are you doing? Why do this? What a fucking loser.
I mean, there's still going to be issues with public transportation.
But again, hey, that's the mother's choice. If somebody forces, like, let's say that you have a woman who is against driving because she is afraid of that 3% chance of unaliving in a car accident.
Yes, but you're not killing a child if you choose. It's not like you either kill a child and never drive a car again, or you don't kill a child and drive a car. You know what I mean? Like, it's not an even thing. Choosing to drive a car is not really quite the same as choosing to have an abortion or choosing not to have an abortion. Because there's no, like, inherent, there's no... The argument will be that, like, the fetus is a person and they're like the victim of being killed or whatever, just turning your car on and driving somewhere, there's not necessarily a risk of death. It's just something that's always there. Trying to have a moral argument without morals. Well, yeah. He's not thought about any of this shit, and he'll admit that he's not thought about any of this shit. And he wants to do a debate show. Oh no, he doesn't rage quit yet, I don't think. I think we have to wait till 2:53. So I think he at least gives this a good go. Like at the moment, I'm like far in last place when it comes to like the Alec Gunter rage quit speedrun. Because it took me well over an hour. He's a weird voice type who has morals floating around, but he doesn't actually commit to them in any meaningful way. It does come across that way.
Is it morally permissible for the law to force her into a vehicle?
I mean, obviously not, but
Okay, great.
It would be different. It would be different because, like, in this case, the fetus is in a state of...
It's just not comparable. Getting into a car, like, is not the same as whether or not you're going to terminate your pregnancy. It was Alec debating. He's taking call-ins. He's doing this Javan Bradley type thing. Because, of course, he's inspired by Javan Bradley. All these idiots watch each other and get hyped up on each other. And, like, TikTok debates are in right now. That's what's cool right now. We need the next Harry Sissons. Because it turned out Harry Sisson is a bit of a player. Doesn't maybe stand up to his own morals as much as he pretends to. So now we need more of them. We need clones of fucking Dean Withers or some shit. You know.
Dependency. I mean, in that case, like the child isn't morally, like, it isn't morally. Sorry, not morally. It's not in the state of dependency.
Yeah, exactly. He thinks vegetarianism is the morally right thing, but he isn't vegetarian. He'll say that, oh, I think you need to give more consideration to the fetus after 20 weeks. You know, when consciousness starts to develop, when it starts to actually resemble a living thing. But he still supports abortion up to all 9 months for any reason anyway. So him saying that he'd give more consideration to that means nothing, because he's literally still saying, well, they should still, what's the word? They should still be allowed to abort them anyway. So what does any of that mean? I gotta call him on the line. It'd be fucking epic. You should, yeah. I still want to call, like, the line or something like this. It's just lining it up, you know what I mean? But also, Alec Gunter should go on the line. I think that'd be fucking amazing. Like, imagine him and Arden Hart. Or, like, him and Dr. Ben, even better. If any of you debate this, child, please let us know. I mean, maybe you know, I've already spoken to him before. If I tried to speak to him again, I'd have to use a different Discord. And I'd have to, because I'm banned from his Discord. Oops, shit. I'm banned from his Discord, so I'd have to make a new Discord. I'd probably have to, like, disguise my voice, because I'm quite distinctive sounding, so I'd probably have to do like an accent or something. But I don't know, maybe one day. I'll keep an eye, because I think sometimes he streams. I think he's on Eastern time. I think sometimes he streams around the same time I do.
Outside of the car, or inside of the car even. So I mean, like, it's going to be different cases. Like, the fetus...
I don't believe in the government dictating what percent is accepted, like what percent of...
Mate, the government's job is to, like, set these kind of things. Isn't that their job? What's the alternative? I mean, if you want socialized healthcare, if you want government-run healthcare, paid for through taxes rather than paid at the point of whatever. Can I lower my voice? Yeah, I can lower my voice decently. I sound very posh now. I could be a Tory MP. What was he saying?
I don't believe in the government dictating.
Yeah, isn't this the government's literal fucking job? Doesn't he want things like socialized healthcare? Like, he was complaining about Shoe on Head not talking about socialized healthcare or any lefty things when she literally does. Yeah, put on my scouts, right? I don't know if I could, like, maintain that. But maybe. I can say my name's Mischief. I just don't get this, man. Like, if you want socialized healthcare, then yeah, the government's necessarily going to be the one setting all the rules about this kind of shit. Because the government are running... Like, how does he think, like, the NHS works? Who has to sign off on how everything works? The government, the health ministry, some kind of shit. Or if I call the line, I don't need to change my voice, because none of them know who I am. Hopefully. And I can always just give a fake name or something. I'll give they them pronouns and then give all the least they them takes ever. I mean, it's hard to maintain an accent in general, especially because a lot of the ones I do are very exaggerated. So I just start laughing. Personally, I think that slavery is wrong, but I don't want to take away slave owners' choice to own slaves. He does have kind of that vibe, yeah. Like, it kind of seems like his principles don't matter because he doesn't live by them anyway. So I don't know, man.
What percent is acceptable? Like, what percent of unaliving for a pregnant woman is acceptable for them to be allowed to have an abortion? Because let's say, okay, let's say this. Let's say that a doctor says you will absolutely, like, you have a 90% chance of being unalived with this pregnancy, okay? And that's why we have to proceed with the abortion. And then the government steps in and they say, nope, we're going to get a second opinion on this.
Sebastian Chu. Wait, how did you guess my old name? Shit.
Walks in Dr. GOP. And Dr. GOP over here, this 80-year-old fuck, all right, drooling and probably drunk out of his mind, comes stumbling in.
Not that we generalize conservatives ever, you know what I mean? Not that we ever do any of that kind of thing. That's just what the right does.
And he says, yeah, I think it's more like, 2%, probably. No, there you go, there's your second opinion. Sorry, you can't have it.
Well, just be clear, I'm not talking about like what government thinks.
I am, because that's the end. Like, okay, my biggest issue with you Phil bros is that you don't, like, again, what you just said, you don't consider the legal ramifications of your worldview, and that's important. That's meaningful. That's real.
What type of?
He's telling someone else they don't consider the ramifications of their worldview. He made a eugenics argument earlier. He's in favor of aborting black babies. He said so himself. Like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ, man. You don't have. I know you're a fucking leftoid progressive debate, bro. You don't have to project constantly like that.
Type of thing is like when we talk about politics, that's a philosophy, right?
A big part of politics is the laws we implement.
Yeah, people are trying to tell him that you have like the philosophy first and then the policy, and he's just not having it. No, I want to skip straight to the policy if you don't mind. What do I think about anything? Well, what I think about things doesn't actually like impact what I actually think should be done anyway. Like, fucking hell. No, Alec Gunter used to be like a conservative or some kind of cartoon version of a conservative. And now he's a leftoid. He's like a progressive. He's arguing. Listen, can you see the topics down here? The things he's arguing for: gender affirming care being good, respecting trans people, abortion all 9 months, conservatives are dangerous people, mass deportation is bad, healthcare should be free. And like, by the way, if healthcare should be free, well, first off, that's more radical than any fucking European country, because our healthcare isn't free. But, like, he wants, like, socialized healthcare. So the government would have to be the ones, like, setting all the fucking standards. There'd be a health minister, like there is in this country. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. I don't fucking get it.
Yeah, laws is also philosophy. Like, what is this guy talking about?
But you don't want to talk about laws.
I mean, I could talk about laws, but I'm mostly going to talk about normative.
You could, but you'd rather talk about, like, I don't know if you've pulled up any articles yet, but...
It's called the normative.
God, I feel so fucking vindicated. And, like, I should have been better about saying, like, I'm talking about stuff in, like, concept. I'm not really talking about, like, practical application, like when we spoke. But I'm so fucking vindicated by this. Like, people gave me shit because he'd back me into some corner with some, like, oh, I have to prescribe this kind of position or something. I have to prescribe this kind of law that will fix all the bathroom issues between trans people and non-trans people. And I'm like, well, I'm trying to talk about this kind of shit in concept. I'm not talking about fucking setting laws. I'm not a lawmaker. I'm more interested in, like, the philosophy behind it when I talk about, like, trans shit. Because just skipping to that part of the debate is taking out a whole chunk of stuff that you need to think about before you can start talking about the fucking policies. It's, like, so retarded. He's never lived in a country with socialized healthcare. He doesn't even know how it works. Well, yeah, of course not. He doesn't want the government setting things. Well, then what do you want? Do you want to live in Ancapistan? Every hospital is its own business, but for some reason it's still free. Like, who's setting the standards then? I guess the doctors, like fucking doctors' unions or associations or whatever. Well, better hope they're not going to act in their own self-interest. Like, I don't understand what he wants. If we're to put all the pieces together of his ideology, I just don't think it would fit. You don't want the government to, like, be the ones setting policies on, like, health, but you want healthcare to be free. It's just nuts.
It's like, if we go to pragmatics without covering the normative, then we would just...
In the UK, the socialized healthcare doesn't do abortions all 9 months. Yep, true.
Devolve into normative anyway.
Yeah, it's worth remembering people like this, I don't know how much he claims, because to be clear, I don't know how much I'm talking about him in particular. People might claim, oh, well, I look at Europe and I like the socialized healthcare models in those countries. Like, that's not what he's arguing for. He's arguing for a healthcare system that goes far beyond. Because A, our healthcare is not fucking free. And B, I don't know, anywhere in Europe that lets you abort up to 9 months, maybe somewhere does. I don't think is the norm. Like, fuck, I guess I can check. Almost all countries only permit abortion later in pregnancy if specific circumstances. Okay, so yeah, this is what I mean. He's arguing for like far past what anywhere in Europe does. So I don't know if he's one of those people that will look at Europe and say, oh, we need to be more like those people. But that's not even what he's saying. He wants to go far beyond. It's just not going to happen. Like, I might die before any kind of like socialized healthcare starts to happen in the US. Even socialized systems recognize the system is strained and abortion up to birth is insane. Well, yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ. The other thing is, like, the NHS is on his knees. I don't know if opening up abortion access to everyone who wants one is the right answer there.
What?
Like, if we talk the pragmatic implications and we don't talk about the normative, then it's just going to devolve into normative anyway. So there's no point in avoiding it. We might as well talk about the normative now.
What do you believe the law ought to be?
This is the third person that's tried to talk Alec Gunter into putting more weight into caring about the philosophy behind laws. Like, it's just preposterous. It's like parody at this point. You run a debate thing and you want to talk about policy, but never really talk about like the philosophy behind the policy. And person after person calls in, trying to convince you that you have to have like some conversations like in concept, and you have to think about things in concept in order to have like a strong foundation to then say, well, I think this policy is good and I think that policy is good. He wants to skip all that because he's a fucking retard and doesn't want to think.
I mean, it would obviously, are you asking about like my political position?
Yes.
I'm a Vatican monarchist, so.
No, sorry. I'm asking specifically as it pertains to abortion.
No, it would probably be morally wrong to allow abortion in most cases.
In most cases. So in what cases is it okay?
Like, likely to unalive cases and cases where it isn't coming from.
Right, we've established 49% is enough, right? But unaliving cases, and then what else?
Unaliving cases? Yeah, it would just be like, rape would include.
I mean, the thing is, there's always going to be a point where someone is just very slightly not likely enough to die. And it ends up being done case by case, and that point is going to vary depending on which doctor you see. So, like, necessarily, you're going to have to point to two similar cases and say, oh, well, probably you'd want this one to get an abortion and this one not to have an abortion. And it might not make a whole lot of sense, but I don't know that we need to be giving as many abortions out as possible, necessarily. You know what I mean?
I think so. Almost. Yeah.
Okay, so let's say that a woman is S8.
Yeah, see, I think I'm generally pro-choice, and this is, like, far beyond. I think probably 20 weeks is okay. I think that consideration should be given to, like, people who've been raped or, like, are actually in danger, like, might die if the pregnancy is carried to term. For sure. But, like, all 9 months? Like, come on.
Right? And as a result, she becomes pregnant. Now the burden is on her to prove that she was S8 before she can have that procedure done. And a lot of the time, that's hard to do. So what is she to do?
What is she, like, what she ought to do?
What should she do? Because it's illegal for her to get
If a
one.
woman got
Obviously, she's
abortions
not
the
morally
day before her
obligated
due
to
date because
nor
she
is she
gets
morally
massive
obligated to
endorphin
have
rushes, what's
No,
the
I'm not saying she's morally
societal harm?
obligated to get
Oh my god, turn your TTS off when you're doing that.
It's
I'm
only
saying
once every
that she
9 months.
can't meaningfully, like, if she can't meaningfully prove that she was S8, then she just won't be able to get one.
Like, if she does get one anyway, it would be morally justified, so I don't see the issue. And, like, her...
The issue is that she won't be able to, because it's illegal. Unless she does it herself, in which case she could very well unalive.
Girl, why are we talking about pragmatics? Are we dead right now?
I can't do it anymore.
You can't do it anymore. There we go. Here's the debate lord running a debate show, and every time the conversation goes somewhere he doesn't like, he'll shout to them a few times. It's like, nope, I can't do it. Nope, can't do it. Nope. Why are you doing a debate show again? Oh my god.
Why are we talking about, like, the ramifications of my views?
And then he starts bitching about the person. Hang on, what even happened? Because like these people keep trying to convince him that he should think about like the concepts behind this kind of stuff, instead of just constantly going on about like pragmatism and like policy. But he doesn't seem to understand that he lacks the kind of philosophical backing. And when people question it, he just gets mad.
If she does get one anyway, it would be morally justified, so I don't see the issue. And like her...
At least in one time in this debate, he's gone off on some fucking tangent just to give him an excuse to call the person silly or like shit on him or whatever.
The issue is that she won't be able to, because it's illegal. Unless she does it herself, in which case she could very well unalive.
Girl, why are we talking about pragmatics? Are we dead as right now?
I can't do it anymore. Why are we talking about like the ramifications of my views? What? Dude, you're not normal. I hope you realize that. Yes, you're right.
You're not normal.
I am confused, Apostle. I'm confused how you became this way. Think for 2 seconds about your worldview and the act.
Think for 2 seconds about your worldview. When you want healthcare to be free, but don't want the government to like set the standards. Like, think about your fucking worldview, Nibber. What are you doing?
Actual consequences of those worldviews.
And then he gets mad. Suddenly he can enunciate. Suddenly he can express himself because he's like kicked the caller. And now he can just like shit on them behind their back. And all the people can be like, oh my God, he's so insufferable, that guy. Like, fucking hell. You can see why this is unlisted.
Okay.
Do you think he's going to post any of these? He never posted our debate. I had to do it.
Is that hard? Or do we have to talk about the newborn, not newborn, but, you know, fetus in the cabin or whatever? The definitely, like, you know, not sentient or feeling fetus that is wiggling on the floor, but if you feed it a little milk, then it'll, you know, spring to life or something. Like, Nobody comments is agreeing with host? Okay, well, I mean, they're more than welcome to request. I feel like I'm making my point pretty well. The only people, it seems, who...
Of course you're making your point, where it's everyone else, Alec. The reason you rage... It's always everyone else's problem. It's always everyone else's fault when you rage quit a debate. It's got nothing to do with you whatsoever. It's got nothing to do with the fact that you haven't thought any of these things through.
Who have, like, strong opinions on what women should be allowed to do with their bodies are not interested in the...
People never make concessions in debate and acknowledge their opponent's points. No wonder they get mad. Yeah, it's annoying when people do that, isn't it, Narco Man? It's annoying when someone makes a point and the other person just ignores it and goes off on something else. It's kind of annoying, isn't it? All right, I'll stop giving you shit now. Listen, I don't hate you. But I don't know if I'm unbanning you, just so we're clear. I bet his legs are pumping like crazy in the style of Demon Mama. Yeah, maybe. I haven't been really watching it. What is he saying? He's just fucking mouthing now because he's bad at debating, but he wants to be a fucking superhero debater for the left. I guess Jovan Bradley is a bit better at keeping his cool than Alec Gunter, so Alec now wishes he was Jovan. And also I'm pretty sure Jovan built an audience a bit more quickly than Alec did. Why didn't he say any of this to his face? Because he's an idiot. Hang on. I just want to check something. Listen, I fucking hate Jovan Bradley. But I'll give him one thing. He's a bit better at this than Alec Gunter. Yeah, Jovan's audience is like... He hasn't been around half as long as Alec. And he's like 41k. 2 years ago. Alec has been going way longer than that. He's been on Jubilee. Like, no wonder he's looking at these people and like trying to cop their shit. You know what I mean? No wonder. Anyway. I'll just see if he whines it a little bit more.
Actual consequences of not allowing women to have control over their bodies.
I choked when I heard Vatican monarchist.
Yeah, I did too. I did not bring that up, but yeah, that's really stupid, dude. Why do you want to kiss the feet of a...
Yeah, Vatican monarchist, that's stupid, but not being some kind of small governmentist who also wants free healthcare. The government shouldn't be the ones making decisions. Oh, it's so stupid.
A fucking king. That's cocked behavior. Unless you think you're going to be the king, which is very funny.
I don't even know what does he even mean when he talks about like cucked? Like, what does he even mean when he says that? Is this just language he's like yet to purge from his fucking, from the remnants of his cartoon alt-writer fucking brain? Having switched to a cartoon leftist instead.
Thank you very much for another 5 tier 1 gifted sub, Zygotes. Let me go back and read your last one since I was talking over it. If a woman got abortions the day before her due date because she gets massive endorphin rushes, what's the societal harm? It's only once every 9 months.
What's the societal harm? Yes, let's just encourage all women to ask for abortions the day before their due date if that's what they want. Like, yeah, no social harm. What are you talking about? No one, like, the people that watch him are just as stupid as he is. And frankly, they all think the same shit. He's just here to, like, conform to their shit. Ultimately. He's just there to say things that people do, that people whatever, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Pretty true. Crutches on Dude, it's the consequences of your views. That's not a crutch. That's reality.
Well, no, it becomes a crutch when you keep dipping out of arguments about things in concept to make them about pragmatics. The problem is he will only ever focus on the pragmatics and won't talk about any of the other shit. So yeah, it is a crutch. I've experienced the same thing. I try and talk about something in concept and he drags it to a policy question. That's definitionally a crutch. Yes, you should think about pragmatism at some point, how to make these things actually work. But before that, you should probably make sure that your ideas make any fucking sense.
Go touch grass. Unless you want to talk about, like, yeah, you know what? We should talk about the pragmatics of you touching grass. I'd like to discuss that. Okay?
Listen, watch him on Jubilee and tell me that he should be telling anyone to touch grass.
Not a fucking crutch, man. It's reality. Pro-life rat, you're more than welcome to request. I'm kind of, like, tired of the abortion debates, though. I'd rather talk about something else, to be honest.
Go on his channel. I mean, listen. It's unlisted, to be clear. You can see it's unlisted. But, like, most of these people, they put playlists up of all their VODs, so you can still find them. Yeah, the comments weren't too kind to him. Stick to cartoon, little boy. Debate Andrew Wilson, big boy. I'd love to see him debate Andrew Wilson. I think that'd be fucking hilarious. I don't agree with Andrew Wilson on very much, but I would pay money to see that, I tell you.
Oh, hold on. Okay, no, nobody's
There aren't any more debates, just to be clear. Like, he had 3, no one else wants to call in, probably because it's very tedious having a conversation being forced down a dialogue tree the way that someone like Alec Gunter does. So people probably don't want to fucking talk to him, but hey.
Okay.
We'll just see if there's any more, like, fun stuff comes up.
What's up? Not much. Just got done debating 3 dudes who don't want to talk about the legal ramifications of their worldview when it comes to abortion.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, they're just...
Mom, they don't want to think of the ramifications of their actions.
Not much. Just got done debating 3 dudes who don't want to talk about the legal ramifications of their worldview.
Like, it's such cope. It's such cope. You can't, like, flesh out your actual beliefs. So you just drag every conversation to the same thing. I'm so fucking vindicated. I'm so glad. I'm so fucking glad. Oh my God.
When it comes to abortion.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, they're just, like, interested in scenarios like...
She's there like, yeah, totally, babe. That's totally what happened. Okay. Your mommy's little debate, Lord. Well done. Andrew Wilson. Geez, how do I explain Andrew Wilson? He's like a rightoid guy, like a Christian nationalist or something. I'm not down with that kind of shit myself. But, like, I don't know. His debate style is, like, unique, I guess. He has a way of getting under people's skin. Does Alec live with his mom? No. To be clear, I think that's his, like, partner or something. I'm just doing memes.
Like a fetus on the floor of a cabin that you find that does not have any...
I know. I'll pick out some hypothetical and pretend someone made it as a actual actionable point. Like, oh man.
Neuronal capacity, I guess. But if you feed it a little milk, it will. So are you therefore obligated to, like, pick it up and feed it? And that's why women can't have body autonomy.
The problem is, this utter retard just eats up everything he says. You have no idea what's been going on.
It's really stupid.
That sounds like someone who had a miscarriage, not like someone who had an abortion. What is going on?
Yeah, this person doesn't know this is a hypothetical. He's such a loser.
Technically an abortion isn't.
Like, he just bitches about these people afterwards and, like, only picks out the parts that he can use. to like make them sound stupid. This is like insecure as fuck behavior.
A miscarriage is an abortion, just not induced. I'm assuming roses are money. Thank you for the roses. I think that equates to money, but I'm not sure, but thank you. Good job.
No.
That's good pain. It's good
I
pain.
know, but I hate it.
I know.
So I am able to stay,
It's good.
which like bouncing on the balls might be.
I know the feeling.
Really hurt. Ow! My God.
Oof.
I want to talk to whatever power was like, you know what we should do? We should make an acid that makes your body hurt when you are exercising. Why? I want to punch that. I want to punch that power in the face.
Yeah.
Hard.
It's good pain, though. You'll learn to love it.
I know.
Hold on one sec.
Oh, debating Kelly J. Keane, that would be interesting, yeah. Now, if they're dating Gunter, they probably hang on his every word. They probably actually believe that this kind of shit is legit. Gunt's husband, I don't know. I don't know, actually. I'm saying it's his mom, but I don't actually know who that person is, to be clear. My guess is they're like partners.
Oh, I think I missed somebody in the Discord. Oh well. I think I need a mental break anyway.
Gunter's wife is non-binary. Oh, is that his wife?
Yeah, okay. I thought I was missing calls.
Maybe not. It was just fucking up.
Okay, lines open. Conservatives, request up. If you're on TikTok, there is a phone number you can use to call in, but TikTok...
Hey, do you want to call me and talk about the practicalities without talking about the philosophy behind them? Do you want to make policy prescriptions based on nothing? Come talk to me. What does the shirt I'm wearing say? I actually don't know what it says. Occult youth. It's very deep and meaningful, is what my t-shirt is. Was a Vatican moralist. Well, I think they said a Vatican monarchist, so I guess strong Catholic influence and a monarchy. I'm not down with that kind of stuff myself. We have a monarchy. They don't do fuck all, really. I don't see the point in them myself.
warned me to take it down, so I had to. So you'll just have to request on there. But if you want to go to my YouTube, it's Alec Gunter. Phone number's on there. There's a QR code to join the Discord server in order to debate, if that's better for you. We talk about trans people, gender affirming care. Actually, I should say gender affirming care for children.
Ooh, it's for children now. Holy shit. Calling to me. I need to debate trans kids with him.
I think that's more. Okay, lines open. Phone number's on the screen. If you're on YouTube, if you are on TikTok, you can request. I could
No one's going to request.
not leave the phone number on the screen due to TikTok's personal information restrictions, but you can request and I will pull you in. There's also a Discord channel you can go to. If you scan the QR code on the screen, if you prefer Discord, we can call in there. Conservatives, request up, baby. It's time to put your ideals into the political gauntlet. The rhetorical
But not actually your ideals, just your policy prescriptions, because that's all he's interested in.
gauntlet, I should say. See if they hold up to scrutiny. They usually don't. You go through Critical Thinking 101, which is something missing. You're saying I do? Like I have critical thinking skills and they do not? I didn't know you had TikTok. I do. Sean, were you the one trying to request earlier in my debate Discord channel?
Wait, is it a different Discord? I'm still called the Marichu on... I'm still called the Marichu on Discord. I'll make another one and I'll look out for him, but... Yeah, we're gonna have to do some voice changing because he's gonna know who I am. I'm too paranoid.
I haven't dusted off my Discord channel, or sorry, my Twitch, TikTok channel, well, Twitch too, honestly. I haven't dusted off the old TikTok in a long time. Did Sean just come in and then leave? That was rude.
Wealth, fame, power. The Catholic Church missed a golden opportunity to embrace birth control. Jesus brand condoms, the immaculate contraception.
All people the freedom of speech to the extent that they are advocating for the mass unaliving of multiple groups of people. That is not freedom of speech. That can only hurt you. Like, that can only hurt people. Woodshed moment, yeah. I think I get that. Just a reminder, if you're a hate watcher, a lurker, what have you.
Listen, Amy, this is the internet. Everyone has some kind of bizarre, like, ideology, except me.
We are doing call-in stream. The title says it, but we are doing call-ins tonight. You need to Google them.
I don't know. I think like internet like rightoids or whatever hit a bit different to like IRL rightoids who, at this stage, probably most of them that you know in real life probably just go down with whatever Donald Trump says. So
number on the screen. If you're not on, I mean, if you're on TikTok, which I think I only have one viewer on there, but whatever. If you're on TikTok, just request. There is a Discord server you can join if you prefer. Just scan the barcode, not the barcode, the QR code on the screen to join. Or you can use the Google number, of course. Can you not? I'll get an A. I'd rather not do this again. I do not understand the depths of my own lurking powers. Because like it doesn't take for Find the Lost Chow, it doesn't take store or rings into consideration.
Stage select.
I've been playing it again lately too, and I've been stuck on the final story Knuckles level. That section where you have to hit the timer. Son of a, can you not? Yeah, I forgot what I was trying to do for a second. Oh, fuck, son of a bitch, I was paying attention.
Alright, listen, we'll just get the end of this. Sorry, I don't know if it's windy out or what. I keep hearing noises. It is somewhat windy out, that's probably why. I'll just see what he says at the end of this, because I don't really care about watching him play Sonic, if I'm honest.
The temple results in, results in like a platform or like a spring or something appearing, which takes you to a place that's not normally accessible, where the Lost Chow is then at. Does that make sense? Like 99 times out of 100, you need Mystic Melody to find the Lost Chow. It's video game jargon. I tried. Anyway, I want to thank you all very much for joining today. I do have to find somebody to raid into. I had fun though. I mean, like, listen, I'm a little bit bored of the abortion debate, honestly. Like, I just feel like every single fucking time it's some film.
This is his first thing. This is his first debate stream, and he's bored of the abortion debate already. You had to be bored too. If I only wanted to talk about fucking policy about abortion and nothing else, and all people want to do is rightly try and inform me that you need to talk about the stuff that comes before forming a fucking policy. Oh man. Maybe this isn't for you, bro. Maybe it's not for you, and it's okay. Not everything is for everyone. Is David Pakman a real American? I would imagine he probably is, yeah.
Bro who like just wants to like dress up their misogyny in scenarios that don't actually correlate to anything meaningful or pragmatic. I know that like I'm, you know, crutching on pragmatism, but I am a person who believes that real life is important. So anyway, hopefully next time we get
such a cope. He does this because he doesn't want to spend time actually thinking about his positions. And the problem is, if he does think about his positions, he might find himself disagreeing with his chats, which you can't have that. You can't have disagreements with your own chats when you're someone like Alec Gunter. It's not going to happen.
Get some. I don't know if I'm going to do this again on Tuesday. Maybe I'll just do this one day a week, because I do want to make sure that I keep doing the regular segments that people subscribe to me in the first place for, you know. So maybe we'll do this. I do have a lot of segments that need edited though. I don't know. I'll see what I'm in the mood for on Tuesday when we stream again. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining. Love you all. Let me find somebody to raid into real quick. Talorx Live is streaming. I don't know if I've ever raided into Talorx Live.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know what the fuck a real American is, and I don't much care.
Recently. I don't think I have. Why don't we fix that? Host, Twitch. Okay, we'll do that. If you're on YouTube, if you go to the site chat, you will be able, like, it'll just...
Alright, this is boring. There we go. Alec Gunter. We finished his first debate stream. Maybe we'll see more. Like I said, if it matches up, I'll try and call in. I'll have to make a new Discord, though, because I'm banned from his Discord. Not going to get in there again, and he's not going to want to talk to me again. But hey, that was interesting. I think his positions make no sense. He seems to frequently cite sort of moral positions that he doesn't live by, such as veganism. He seems down with, like, the craziest shit, like banning cars, like... Pretty nuts. He doesn't want the government to be involved in, like, making health policy, but wants socialized healthcare. It just doesn't make any sense. When you put all the puzzle pieces together of these people's ideologies, it doesn't make any sense. And it makes so much sense why they don't want to talk about, like, their philosophy so much and just want to make, like, policy prescriptions. As if in isolation, someone can come up with a better one than someone else, and that can constitute winning the debate. But then winning the debate for him is just deciding that he can't be asked anymore and quitting, because all his sycophantic fans are going to be like, oh yeah, you really showed him. And then and then you quit because you can't talk sense into like, sure, bro, sure, bro, sure, bro. Anyway, there we go. Wish him all the best. If I get round to it, if it happens, I'd love to talk to him again. Maybe talk to him about trans children. That's one of the things. That and transports, I think, are the things that I want to like try and get a few conversations going with. And I've been trying to get Katie Montgomery to like agree to a call in. And the thing is, if she says no, then she's a rank hypocrite, because her whole thing is about wanting trans people to do more debates and shit like that. But that would more be about like sex, like, you know, human biological sex as a reproductive role, which I think is a really stupid argument, to be honest. I don't know why anyone's making arguments about whether it's binary or not, you know, like fucking ridiculous. See, I think you can probably be a Marxist and have principles, but someone like this doesn't want to do like the legwork necessary to actually form his own opinions. And that would be to his detriment to do potentially anyway, you know what I mean? But yeah, anyway, there we go. Alec RUNter. Very fun, very fun. Apparently got mogged by someone else. Was it Metatron or something? I can't remember who it was.